Welcome back to the Deal Vault podcast. If you're a real estate investor looking to scale, secure funding, and learn from real deals, you're in the right place. I'm Greg, and together with Nate and Sarah, we'll sit down each week and break down market trends, funding strategies, real deal stories from our investors. Now, if you're ready to unlock knowledge, relationships, and capital you need, let's open the vault. Welcome back to the Deal Vault podcast. Woohoo, here we are. Cheers. Cheers and fist bump cheers. Solid. So we've got AJ with us today. Welcome. First timer. It's going to be awesome. A lot of fun stuff we'll cover today. First things first.
Absolutely.
Lowe's, Home Depot, or the wild card of Menards?
Ooh, so Menards for flooring. Menards for there's some very specific things with Menards.
Materials is what I would say.
Yes, but my rewards, the bulk of my rewards points are currently invested with the Lowe's because that is the closest to my house.
Lowe's.
You're really out.
I'm the only one. Yeah, their parking lot is so bad locally.
Well,
it just can't handle it.
That's why you deliver it.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Do delivery.
Yeah, fair. But is there nothing to be said for having such a good theme song that
That's why I go to Menards, because of the theme song and the flooring costs. Save big money.
it does stick in your head?
It
Pretty
does,
good.
absolutely.
But the Home Depot guitar riff.
I mean, that's
very good. That's so good. Carrie, you'll have to remind me one of these times I'm playing the Home Depot riff. I'm bringing my guitar and it's going to be awesome.
Can't wait to hear a couple of the sounds.
Okay, we got another Lowe's guy.
So,
Another.
has it been mostly the Lowe's at this point?
Yeah, I was.
I
really
think he was surprised. He thought he would let you have comrades, and apparently only a borrower that listened gave Nate a hard time.
We have had people reach
Everyone
out
else.
specifically to Raz.
Yes.
Not against Home Depot, just saying, but against Lowe's folks.
Okay. It's close to my house. It's strictly ease, because here's the deal. One does not just take one trip to Lowe's. Whenever you need something, there's inevitably, I forgot this bolt or this thing.
That's where it's the parking lot for me. If I lose my mind, I don't mind parking in the back. Like I'm very comfortable with that. But like to risk death at every moment,
Sure.
is just not.
Don't mind parking in the garden section if you have to, but
But let's say the parking lot wasn't that. You'd still pick.
I think I probably would.
Right.
The guitar is just that good. It's that good.
fair.
Good job, marketing guy or gal over there. All right. Now that we have the important things
Yes,
out of the way, I think it'd be good just to get an intro of who you are. That way, anybody that's listening can either tune in, especially because okay, I see myself in that, or they can tune out because wow, I have nothing in common with you. But I think what people will find is this is a dude that's just trying to get after it, do well for his family, and is seeing opportunities and finding ways to get it done. So, AJ, who are you? Where'd you come from? And what do you do?
Well, I would say my story is similar in some ways to a lot of the LoanBidz crew. I did not take a direct route into real estate for me.
Right. So most of our team actually came from DNA
Absolutely.
specialties.
Yeah. So I fortunately have extra pieces of paper that have my name on it from other universities. So my background is genetics. I spent 5 years as a crime scene investigator for here in the state of Missouri, testifying in court, getting paid very badly to do so. And then went from there to a private testing lab, which I was at during the height of COVID. So I was the one, apologies to everybody who I might have done this to, poked their brains with tiny cotton swabs. Yeah, that was me. I did that. And so, yeah, a lot of that during 2020 through 2022. Then a brief foray into politics, which then led me to LoanBidz and real estate.
The natural transition.
The natural transition, as one does.
It all seems like it fits together.
So,
Yeah.
crime scene investigation. You know what? Let's just unveil it right now.
Totally.
The Deal Vault True Crime Podcast.
Hey, you know what? Stay tuned.
It's
Stay tuned.
gonna be huge. Lots of natural transitions. Similar to me, like nursing. Of course, you would end up doing real estate loans. But actually, the common theme is real estate is can be attractive to everyone. I think if you have the chops, a little bit of of adventurism
Yeah.
and uh, desire to do well for yourself and your family.
And I think works well with others. I mean, I think in the end, you have to build a team. Like I would put my life down on my drywall guy. Like even just little things like that, where it's like you kind of slowly build this team, get to know people, like the people who I've worked with as here at LoanBidz that I've struggled to work with are the ones who just don't work well with others. So you work with a client, maybe close a few deals, but it's like, hey, if you're struggling, like you don't trust me, then like I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, classically, that person is every step of the way losing their mind about something,
Yep.
which, like, I get it. It's tough to trust the guy that you met on the phone. Like, that's not an unreasonable thing. But what can be unreasonable is never, ever going to that position of trust where, hey, like, this person is going out of their way to be wildly transparent. That's something that try to do. We try to do a really good job of that. It's one of our core values to be wildly transparent. They're showing that they're a team player, they're being a trusted partner, et cetera, et cetera. All the things that we talk about all the
Oh, yeah.
time. The person that struggles is somebody that never sees that
Yeah.
for what it is. They're always distrusting. I think you can trust but verify. Like you don't have to like somebody that does good for you one time, like doesn't mean that they can do no wrong ever, but they're, developing that certain level of trust and relying on people to do their jam.
And understand that they have your best interests at heart. Like to have heart to hearts where it's like I have people come to me with deals that they got from somewhere else. Hey, this is what I'm getting here. And I look at it, I'm like, hey, that's either made up or you need to take it immediately. And I always remind them like, hey, there might be dishonesty in other places. Like we're always wildly transparent. I'm going to be as honest and all these things as I can. But in the end, there are still people out there who are going to try and take advantage of you. And so I would say, hey, let me know if something happens. I will be here. And I mean, 7 times out of 10, usually that's what happens.
Yeah.
So,
And they come back and they're like, oh man, that person wasn't actually telling me the truth. And I think it can be hard sometimes because you hear that and you're like, man, maybe I could win that business if I did just say, we can close in 3 days or we can do this and that. But, that's just not how we do things. And we see the damage that causes because we clean up the messes sometimes that come in from that circumstance with another person. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's tricky.
So you wind up at LoanBidz because of the natural transitions from politicking and DNA
yes.
and all that stuff, of course. Doing some loans here, which is great. Been really successful doing that, and I would call it out because you connect well with humans, right? Because humans are the people that get it done. Um, but then you started investing on your own. You kind of saw this, and you're like, I think I can do this too. Maybe I'll ask you, like, what's the mindset? Because I remember talking with you through this because we're just a couple of years ahead of you in the investing, like, and it's really just breaking the ice is the big thing. Maybe talk for a minute about the mentality before you pull the trigger on the first one, like what goes through your head and y'all's head as of the family,
Yeah,
right?
totally. So this I tell my investors all the time that real estate is a game of momentum. So one of Isaac Newton's laws, I'm gonna bring in some science here.
That's okay.
DNA guy.
I think we can.
I hate to say how many times I say this on the phone, but it's
Yeah.
very true. I say one of Newton's laws of motion is the object in motion the object in motion stays in motion, and the object at rest stays at rest. It's the conservation of momentum. And so with that, you've never done real estate before. This is a natural law of the earth, how things function. So the object at rest. Currently, you are the object at rest. At some point, the object at rest a force must be pushed upon it to get that object in motion. So I say inevitably that first step is going to be the hardest one for you to do.
Same for us. Like,
Yeah.
agree.
Yes.
Yes, that's our experience.
I think I don't say it as scientific as you, but I do usually tell, other team members or people that are curious about it or have been looking, but just haven't pulled the trigger is like, you just gotta, do it. You just gotta jump in and you know, do a good job of vetting it, but just don't overanalyze everything that could go wrong, or every challenge. and just, start with something that doesn't have a ton of risk. But yeah, like you said, you got to just get that first one in, and then you build out systems, you build out teams, you build out processes, and it just makes the other ones that much easier.
I do see, because you brought up like build up teams, build up systems, build up processes. I do see, because I think there's a lot of great education out there. Of course, we're the number one leading source of education in the newly formed Deal Vault podcast.
Absolutely.
Obviously. But there are other really great sources out there that people are obviously going to.
Yes.
And I do see that first time investor a lot of time looking to over engineer their teams and their systems and blah, blah, blah. Dude or dudette, you haven't done anything. Like,
Yeah.
you've got this whole system, and like the trick is you don't actually know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get into it and you've prepared for all of these things. What I can guarantee you is there's something else that you didn't prepare for. That's the only guarantee. So like at a certain point, like you just say, there is something that I'm not prepared for. How do I mitigate that? So I guess I have my thoughts on that, but like, I'd be curious, like you're looking at getting into real estate. You've done deals here, quite a few at this point. So you've vetted for other people gazillions of deals, which is also really helpful. But you're looking at this, and I think talking shop, because there's other people in the shop that invest as well. We talked a lot, and I'm certain that the feedback was like, hey, certainly account for the things that we know are going to go wrong, but there's something that you need to prepare for that you don't know about. Like, how did you get comfortable with that? You are married, you've got 2 kids, a mortgage, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can afford some risk, but you can't afford too much risk. Like, how did you mitigate that and say, even with all of that risk, because of these things, I am prepared to go into this big, scary world of real estate. I'm ready to jump right in.
Yes.
Because frankly, not everybody should jump right in. Like, what did you do to say, hey, we're ready
Yeah.
to jump right in?
Yeah, I would say I kind of looked at 3 groups of people. The first one was the paralysis by analysis. It's the person who just study. You study for years, and then you never actually jump in, which, that's a big part of what I do, is try to encourage those people, hey, take that first step. The second group is the people who say, hey, I've never invested in real estate before, but I have this great opportunity. I have about $10,000, and there's this $2 million 30-unit property that I want to invest in. How can you make this happen? It's like, hey,
It's a good deal for somebody.
but trying to like, all right, let's keep things intact. But the third person is the one that I really kind of latched onto early, and it was just the slow and steady. It was what I would call lovingly the good old boy, who you get on the phone or you talk to him at a conference, and very unassuming, nothing flashy or spectacular, but you talk to him, you're like, oh, you have slowly but steadily built a portfolio of 50, 100 plus doors just over years. Again, the object in motion stays in motion, and that motion was steady, reliable, and they weathered storms well. And so I just talked to a few of those people, kind of took a look at what we were willing to take on risk wise and everything else. And fortunately, we had a small line of credit from our mortgage, from our primary residence that we had lived in for over 10 years. So it required a little bit. And so we said, all right, what are we willing to take on first? And for us, it was like, I just want to buy and hold. I just want a property that we just put, nice, easy, single family rental, put 20% down. Maybe we get it for a good deal. And then just learn what it looks like to manage a property, to find a good tenant, you
gotta learn.
You did. Yeah. And I did. I learned early on, like the first thing I did was just do it on Facebook for rental. Hey, anybody who's willing to listen, but the issue is when you just do it on Facebook,
All the fake people come out.
yeah, there's a lot of people who are
People copy your list.
totally.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, through that, and I was like, all right, I got it. But now I'm paying the mortgage and nobody's in there. And so it's like, all right, I had to learn, okay, a little bit of fire that needed to get going, get a tenant in there, and found better ways to market
For sure.
more reliable software that was affordable, and was able to kind of vet some tenants, found a good one who's been in there now for, I think he just signed his 3rd renewal.
That's huge.
It is.
It's such a big deal.
Yes.
And there's no way you can guarantee that. But the get them in, post it on Facebook, and get immediate negative feedback, probably good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
It was.
But we thought this out. I'll do exactly this, and I have the system in place. Like, you plan for it, but like, that's somewhere along the line, something's not going to go right. And that mortgage payment's coming no matter what.
Absolutely.
And I think the biggest thing is like having a little bit of liquidity where you can like not freak out and make a bad decision. Well, I have to put a bad tenant in here now because they're the first person that'll say yes. And because I'm desperate, I chose to not vet you properly because you're the first person with a pulse that I believed might at least give me a security deposit in first month's payment.
Yeah.
So I'm certain that you were going to lean into like, hey, we had a little bit of liquidity, frankly, and it could be from the line of credit.
Yeah.
Right. The line of credit is a good source of liquidity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially to just kind of have it rotating. We didn't do full line of credit. Like, you can get up to your numbers of 80, 85%. Like the big thing for us is we don't want to over leverage.
Right.
And so, layman's terms, I don't want to borrow too much. I still want to keep a little bit of cash flow. I still want to kind of basically live within my means of debt and everything else. But I'm a big fan of using other people's money. And so it's like, hey, if I can put in a little bit to put some skin in the game, make things happen, but also like, hey, if you want me, I'll pay you back over 30 years. Like we can kind of make this work. Like I still want to build even just the financial relationships to help, acquire these things over time, pay them off. And in the end, hopefully build a decent little portfolio.
So how you're in like, cause we talked, you vetted a million deals. AJ's in.
Yeah.
I've got this great plan. It's going to be amazing. Legacy wealth. It's going to be great. Hey, wife, you ready? How'd that go? Like, what's that conversation like?
It took some work. My wife is much more conservative than I am. And so she's very hesitant. She was very early Dave Ramsey adopter. So, hey, debt and borrowing is bad. It's like, well, yes, but like, and so we had a lot of really good conversations and fortunately through my time at LoanBidz was able to acquire not just the knowledge and the language and the skills for myself, but also the knowledge, language, and skills to be able to communicate it effectively to somebody that I care about. Like I didn't want to just be like, hey, we're doing this.
Right.
I wanted her to be on board. I think that's a big part.
Sleeping on the couch for quite a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a nice doghouse out back. And so that was part of it, was expressing kind of the risk reward element, for that, for real estate to be able to say, hey, I'm going to put 20% down. But I told her, I was like, honestly, we bought it. And I felt like we bought it about $20,000 under market. Like it was a good neighborhood.
$200,000 property.
Bought it for it was like 160. Oh. It was 160, but I was like, I think in this neighborhood, 180 to 190 is about right. It's well-to-do neighborhood, very stable here in Springfield. And so I said, I think this is actually worth a little bit more. It was fully renovated. I bought it from a flipper. It was just like, it's ready to go.
Which, I mean, in full transparency, I think if you have the cash to do that the first time, like to start the momentum, sometimes there's something to be said for that. Then after we'll get it a little wild after.
And so that's what I told her, was like, hey, we were going to buy this. And I was like, at any point, if you feel uncomfortable, you're like, hey, I can't do it anymore, we'll sell it. We'll make a little bit of money. Like everything will be fine. But
well, I mean, with agent fees, like, let's be real.
Yeah.
You break even. Like,
totally.
Okay. I think that's a big thing, is like, especially for that first deal, is like realizing we can tolerate this if we get in and it goes like bad. Let's say like that would be bad. Hey, this is not for us. We sell it. We didn't die.
Yes.
Like that's the big thing, like financially, right? Like, I mean, it'd be bad if you actually died, right? Or avoid death. Or avoid that. I recommend it. But we didn't die. Right. Like I've mitigated the really bad thing. In worst case, like, hey, we got a free education. It's a pretty good bargain.
That's the big part. I think when we can look at break even as a bad thing, but I think when you can look at it as like, no, we acquire knowledge. Like knowledge in real estate is power, and knowledge in and of itself of like, hey, I know, like I tell a lot of clients, I was like, they'll come to me, we've been vetting a deal, things look good. And he goes, something didn't look right on the inspection, or something wasn't sitting right with them. I'll say, hey, say no now so you can say yes later. Like knowledge, to be able to see that ahead of time is really valuable. And so I think for us, having that power of like, hey, now we know it's going to help us a lot moving forward.
Well, and one distinction there too is, being a mortgage professional now, right? Coming from not knowing that and just the understanding of how mortgages work, which not a lot of borrowers have that insight on their own, allowing you to have more confidence to step into that space or have conversations with your wife, like to be like, hey, this is how it works. This is what it could look like. I've done a lot of research on the scenarios, and I feel comfortable knowing how this industry works and how, rental properties work now just from learning from being a mortgage professional. And like, I think for investors that are listening, obviously, they're coming in and they may be in one of those three scenarios that you described, right? Maybe they are steady or thinking that they want that steady long game, but they haven't done anything yet. Or there are other scenarios where you're over analyzing or under analyzing.
Yeah, sir.
So just how can that plug into you as an account executive with LoanBidz to leverage your knowledge as a mortgage professional? Because not everybody has that to help that momentum get going. Like, what does that look like when you have one of those new investors reach out in any of those scenarios or with any of those goals in mind? Like, maybe just I'd be curious to hear about that.
Yeah.
Leveraging that.
I think for me, it starts with compassion. Like, I think it's like, I love getting a new client, connecting with them a little bit, but then also kind of just being like, hey, what's your why? Why are you doing this? And it's like, just make a lot of money. It's like, yeah, it's great. Like, let's build towards that. But a lot of times you find is that there's a really sweet why. There's a good, hey, I've been a teacher for 30 years and I'm looking at maybe my pension. I'm looking at something. It's like, man, what's next? Like, what's next for me? Or it's, hey, I've inherited a couple of properties from my parents that just passed away, trying to figure out what to do. And what you find is most people have a really like, man, there is a reason. Like there's a purpose behind what it is that I do. And so with that, it's kind of starting from a place of compassion and empathy, but also like motivator, like stepping in and being like, hey, you can do this. Like I had a great conversation with a guy. We haven't done a deal yet, but that's kind of his story. Was he's teacher trying to figure out what's next. And that was the biggest thing that I found myself doing, was kind of a motivational speaker of just like, hey, you can do this. Like he vetted some deals. We talked through what he's got. He's got a couple of doors, but he's like, do you think I can scale this? And it's like, yes, you can. Absolutely.
Well, and that's kind of like phase two that I see. That is, I mean, it's perfect segue because like you break the ice on the first one, and so there are a couple things that you learn is something's going to go wrong that you didn't anticipate. If you prepared properly, just because frankly, you just have liquidity and you can tolerate it. The next thing you learn is I didn't die. Which is good. You start seeing how money like kind of comes in and goes out. How exciting or unexciting that is, right? How to interact with your tenants. You had some repair come up that you now got to go get a guy for that you thought you had and you didn't answer the phone anymore, or like whatever. Okay, and you didn't die because of that too. And now like I'm ready for the next thing because you got that. And I just think that's the cool thing about real estate is even if you didn't work out, you got an education. But in this case, like you own a piece of real estate, which is a high quality asset.
Yes.
Multiple $100,000 asset, probably value $190,000 asset. You own it and you got an education along the way. That's like you are significantly ahead just by having the gumption to step in. So then I think you're prepared, even after the first one, just have the conversation about, okay, what is next? Yeah. Right. And sometimes it can be, I have a need. My why is very strong because I have a negative driver elsewhere that pushes me. I need to go fast.
Yes.
Or, I can ease in and kind of build up that momentum slowly. Again, I like your Newtonian explanation. If you want to go fast, it's going to take a little bit more energy input. Like I think that's the equation, right? If you want to increase momentum faster, the energy input needs to be larger at the beginning versus the slow input of energy over time can build momentum. So for y'all, because we could talk each individual investor all day. I'm sure that's why you should just call somebody that's working in the game and also can be a part of your team. Call AJ, call Nate, like any of these people that have been on here, Peter, Adam, we'll walk you through that. But like for your specific experience, you moved on to the next project. What was that like? Because what you now have learned is we didn't die.
Yeah.
Something weird's going to come up. And I also didn't die from that either. What do we do next?
So my story is definitely one of the object in motion stays in motion. So what you'll find is when you start doing it, deals will just come up. Because what happens is you'll do the real estate thing, you'll You'll celebrate it. Maybe you'll post some stuff online. You'll tell some family and friends about it.
Yeah.
And then inevitably, when something happens, when something comes up, when somebody needs to sell, when whatever it may be, it's, hey, that AJ guy does real estate, right? And so what ends up happening is, and this is a great example, was we got it stabilized. Oh, okay, we didn't die.
We didn't know.
Great. And then across the street from my primary residence, where I've lived for, at this point, almost 11, 12 years, when we first moved in, is a 98-year-old man named Herb. Sweet old man. Herb shoveled his driveway. When he left for a home, they sold the house, went to an investor
Yeah.
who, we'll just say, did not take care of it. And so I lived across the street from this house that became very dilapidated, kind of a stain on the neighborhood. Bad tenants. Yeah. And so it was just kind of this, like, almost want us to move for a while. And then one day, again, object in motion stays in motion. After we've tried everything on this first house, got stabilized, I see a little for sale by owner sign. I go, oh, that's interesting. So I reach out to him because I'd kind of chatted with him a few times whenever he was in the neighborhood. He lived about 2 hours away, so I'd see him much. But he came in and was like, hey, I'm ready to get rid of this thing. I have bad luck with tenants. I live too far. Just need to sell it. I was like, well, what's your price? Now at this point, again, I've got my first one, kind of was able to recoup, some of that, say back up, and had a little bit more of a nest egg to work with. And so I was like, hey, what is your price? And the first price he said was too high. Like my one market advantage, and especially in this neighborhood, is that I've lived there for a decade. So I know what prices are worth. I've been in the mortgage industry for a little bit. I'm like, hey, I know values. I know what I need to have.
Nice trade.
And so he told me this number. I was like, that's cute. Like, let me know. He was like, well, I think somebody will buy it. I was like, all right, well, here's my number. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I can just do CO because it was in bad shape.
Yeah.
He was like, I can do some of this work myself. Great. Let me know.
Good luck for 2 hours.
Exactly. And that's what happened. And so gave it a couple months. I mean, it was most of the summer, just didn't hear anything else. It sat there empty, which was actually really nice for a while for this, for where it had been. But then at some point he reached back out and said, hey, what about this number? And it was significantly closer. And so we found the middle point, negotiated a little bit more. And I said, all right, time for us to do our first rehab. And that was, to go from a buy and hold to, all right, now we've got a rehab property, where this rehab was directly across the street from my house.
That's pretty convenient.
It was convenient, and also
keeping you in the
occurs
face.
every single day. You were reminded, you go put the kids to bed and then you just walk across the street to work on plank flooring or whatever it may be. And so it ended up being a pretty full gut rehab on this property. But it's been that, I would say that is probably at this point in my real estate time, probably the most sweetest venture that I've ever done. Like, just in life and all these things, like, that was such a, looking back on it, such a rewarding experience. So, like, I'm so glad we did it. I'm glad that my wife and my family were like, yes, we agree, we need to do this together.
Do the crazy thing together.
It really was.
And I think, like, another conversation that we'll continue is like, okay, now the family's involved. This across the street, like,
Oh yeah,
they're gonna be. We'll put a pin in that for just a minute. But so you get in, you get that one done. You don't look dead. You didn't die.
hold on.
Good job.
Yeah, we're still here.
You threw some tenants in there. And you have
Great
refinanced.
tenants.
Yeah, right.
Love the tenants.
We know these people. They're great. And you refinanced it out.
Yep.
You closed that out. And so usually
Even higher than we thought.
you did.
All right, that's what I
It does happen on occasion.
Uh,
So you completed a full, what do we call that process?
That full burr.
Did a full burr, which we talked about in our last episode.
Yep.
I think it's probably posted, maybe not, but that's that full burr. And you went from your first one of just a turnkey purchase. You learned the lessons, main lesson being I didn't die, and it's good to have some cash reserve just to, like, so you don't lose your mind.
Totally.
Right? Because even if you can cover it, if it starts getting too close, you lose your mind, and that pressure, and the pressure point's different for everybody. But you've found your comfort level, and you're able to step into that rehab process. So any lessons you learned on the rehab? We'll talk about, like, family involvement there. Any quick lessons learned from that first rehab? Being a pretty heavy one.
It was. I think it reinforced certainly the compassion side. When I talk to a borrower and they're like, I'm not getting my draws. It's not a, God, this guy, like, just figure it out. It's not, it's like, oh, I know what that draw means. Like, I know, hey, when you're not getting that draw, I know that the plumber that you've been working with that trusts you and you trust them is in here going, hey, I need to feed my family. Why are you not paying me? And you're trying to get this money so that, you're not bringing $5,000 out of pocket to help maintain this relationship. So I know, like, when the draw process is taking a while, like what that means to an investor, and like being able to celebrate with investors. Like, man, I know, like, the late nights that takes. Like, I know you put your kids, like, I love to, put the kids to bed, go read a book, watch some Netflix, like hang out. But instead I would do that, put on the knee pads and work on vinyl plank flooring in 2,000 square feet. Like, or, installing a shower surround and trying to make sure everything lines up just right. Like, it took time. I always tell people that it's a labor of love with an emphasis on labor. Like, it was, learning a lot of different things, a lot of YouTube.
Yes.
So to be fair, I did not grow up in a handy house. Like, if anything was broken, we called somebody. So a lot of YouTube videos.
So YouTube, it's amazing.
Yours-
Even
that was
10
us,
years
too.
ago, 15 years ago, when we were doing our first like flip, which we shared before, we dropped the granite, learned how to repair granite, like all this stuff. But
We won't do granted again.
yeah,
That's fair.
well, but I mean, it is there's just something about that. It's like if I were back in that moment, we were like dying. But looking back now, there's a lot of laughter around.
Yes.
Like, the drips and the putting on the plumbing, it's like you learn the things.
Plumbing.
You learn the things that you want to
Yes.
when you have the funds to do it. Just say somebody else can drown, somebody else
yes.
can mud, somebody else can do all that.
Yes.
But there is something about doing it that first time and being a little bit more hands-on and maybe learning it all on YouTube. And we were excited a couple years ago. We saw the house like go up for sale again, and we're like, oh my gosh, it looks the same. And like that wall that we took out, it didn't fall down. Like, we're like, it's not in pieces.
Yes.
So, we were like, all right, okay, we figured it out. But it was definitely through YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Completely.
that's super fun stuff. And fast forward, that one got done. You completed the burr.
Yep.
And you're moving on now. And I think we could save this maybe for a later conversation, because I think we have a fun one that we can get into that will roll out for next week. We'll start that conversation now, but complete that one and fast forward, you're doing a rehab from a distance.
Yeah, first out of state. I'm originally from Northwest Arkansas, which is about 2.5 hours from where we are right now. Still a lot of family down there. And it was, again, hey, trying to sell this house. Hey, AJ does real estate. And again, the object in motion stays in motion. And so for us right now, the object is resting a little bit because of permit. This is my first experience with really like real permit work. It's a very heavy rehab.
Okay.
This will be the first time that the rehab exceeds the purchase price.
Oh, wow.
And so plus it's out of state.
Mhm.
Even something as simple as getting the lawn mowed. It's like I got to call people and figure out who.
Well, yeah, you're the team of people that you used on your other rehab.
Yeah.
You don't
They're
have
not-
the-
they're not- none of them are
going
there.
down there.
Well, and just like something that's worth considering, right? Because our lenders tune into that. You're an
Yes.
out-of-state investor. You're doing a rehab that's greater than the purchase price. Like, our lenders know
Yeah.
you're gonna have some real problems.
I
even
see
if
that now.
even if things like go pretty smooth,
Totally.
so far, like, it's so much harder. And so like the risk is significantly greater.
Yeah.
They're going to want to see, like, if you have a ton of experience doing that, oh, we're a lot more comfortable. If you have a butt ton, which is a measurable thing,
Yes.
one butt measure
I
of
think it's
liquidity,
Yeah.
metric butt ton, of liquidity, like, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable for all of these reasons. Getting the stupid grass mowed,
Yes.
you can't just go do it yourself. You have to pay for it. And then, like, did he do a good job? Did he show up? Like, it's just everything is that much more difficult. But I think the long story short for this episode is you started, you had to have that conversation with your wife to say, okay, we're coming from the debt is bad, and if you have it, you might actually die, to I don't think we will. Here's the plan. Let's take this. I've mitigated the risk as best as we can, and if something goes wrong, we can still handle that. You get in, and it went okay. Like,
It's
it was
smart.
really good.
Got cleared out. It is a blank canvas at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the first one. Like,
Oh,
you get
sure.
that one in, and hey, it actually went really good.
Absolutely.
Even though the things went wrong, it basically went to plan. Move on to the next one, and you're like slowly graduating into this, taking opportunities as they can. not getting out over your ski tips. I think that's a great story of real estate investing. I think that's the smartest way to do it. I think that's what we see our most successful investors that we've kind of grown with. Sometimes we're catching them right at the jump. Sometimes we're catching them, as they're barely getting that momentum going. And some we're catching well after they have momentum, and we're just helping them leverage what they already have and better. But I think it's just good conversation to have for what does this look like for somebody that's starting? What does that conversation look like? What are the feels that you have? How do you navigate that? Because that's what everybody has to go through. All people have to go through that. So I think that's really good. What I really want to talk about next is getting the kids involved. So I think this is a good spot to pause, and we'll pick up next week with, hey, it's across the street. Come on, kid.
Yeah.
Let's help. Is that good? Is that bad? Should kids not help at all? It's too dangerous. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about that. Thanks for listening to The Deal Vault. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share with another investor and leave us a review. If you're looking for help funding your next deal, you can always holler at us at LoanBidz.com. We'd love to help you on that deal. Until next time, keep building, keep investing.